Consider the program models described previously. What factors should a school take into consideration when deciding which program models to offer? Discuss the types of ELL programs offered by a school you are familiar with. Do you feel these programs are appropriate and effective? Why or why not?
The different program models currently in use for ELLs can be classified as either bilingual or English medium. A bilingual program is defined here as any program in which one or more content area is taught in the student's home languages. In English medium programs, all content areas are taught in English, using sheltered instruction strategies and supplemented with PLS as needed. All schools should take into consideration that not all ELL students are Spanish speakers. There are other languages that may not be as common as Spanish, and that some of the models are going to be more helpful than others. Teachers and administrators should work together to study the characteristics and the needs for all ELL students, the desires of their parents and community, the current and potential resources of the school, and local, state, and federal policies. Some types of ELL programs offered by a school that we are familiar with are transitional bilingual education program, pull-out English as a second language instruction, and in-class English as a second language instruction. TBE may be effective because students transition faster from bilingual to English medium programs. The pull-out programs may not be effective because the teachers pull students out of their instruction in class and they miss out on a big portion of instruction. It may also affect the child in that they may feel lower than the rest of the student in the class because they have to go to a different class to be taught. In-class program is effective because the student is not missing any class instruction by being pulled out, and the ELLs can interact with English proficient students and will further assist ELLs in learning English. What minimally should be included in any program model for ELLs? Why are these components critical? What can result if one or more of these components are left out of a program for ELL?
Minimally, what a program model for ELLs includes should be the characteristics and needs of the ELL. Things such as the desires of their parents and community so that the student can have the support at home and in their social setting. Another characteristic or need mentioned in the text was making sure of what potential resources might have. Resources like technology such as iPads, computers, clickers, etc., and as well as textbooks, whether the school has enough textbooks relating to the content area. Characteristics and needs number 3 would be the local and state federal policies which involve meeting the law requirements and student rights in order to be successful for the ELLs. These components are critical because many ELL students who do not have the adequate resources tend to stay behind in their learning. Yet, lacking resources does not prevent teachers from getting adequate training for bilingual programs. If one or two of these components are left out, it is most likely for these students to lose interest. One of the major issues involved in meeting the unique language and academic needs of ELLs is whether or not they should be taught in separate classrooms or programs. This consideration raises the sensitive issue of segregation. When might separate classrooms or programs be needed? What are some possible solutions to the segregation problem that still addresses the needs of the ELLs?
Our opinion would be that ELL students should have regular classroom time with the rest of the English-speaking students so that they could have that exposure and interaction with the language. This is a way that students can pick up the language a bit quicker and can familiarize themselves with how to pronounce any words they aren't sure about. ELL students can comfortably speak in their native language while also learning the English language. As well, we believe that teaching them in different classrooms is so that they can better focus and learn without disturbing the rest of the classroom. This is not having to do with segregation because of any other reasons. Separate classrooms are needed when students need extra practice in a subject. This is so that the rest of the classroom students won't fall behind, and at the same time, this student is receiving the extra help without any disturbances. A possible solution would be the in-class English as a second language instruction over the pullout of students from their classroom.
What is the difference between English as a second language and sheltered instruction?
English as a second language, or ESL, refers to English language instruction for schools who have been identified as ELLs. The purpose of ESL instruction is to enable ELLs to develop their proficiency in English by mastering the skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing to the full extent that they are able to use the English language proficiently and effectively for authentic communicative purposes and to achieve academic success in English language mainstream classrooms. ESL is a distinct content area like math, science, and social studies. It has its own standards and curriculum as well, and has its own time slot within the daily teaching schedule. Sheltered instruction refers to grade level content area that is provided in English, but in a manner that makes it comprehensible to ELLs. Sheltered is a metaphor for simplifying the language.
What are the pros and cons of each of the English medium and bilingual education program models that we find in the field today?
Or biliteracy. It is less effective than stronger models. Development bilingual education helps ELLs achieve educational parity with their peers. They can become bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural. In this model, home language is viewed as a resource. In dual language programs, ELLs tend to reach and exceed a higher grade level and become bilingual and biliterate with strong cultural communication skills. ELLs are taught by qualified bilingual teachers. In bilingual immersion programs, they address the needs of both ELL and no ELL students. In those programs, students develop home language skills higher than in a transitional bilingual education program. In a heritage language program, students tend to make faster progress and attain higher levels of proficiency in the target language. These programs build on students' knowledge and values varieties of heritage language. In an ESL pull-out instruction, it is criticized as the least effective, although it is much better than nothing. Students are pulled out on a regular basis. The isolation does not enable ELLs to achieve parity with their peers. In-class ESL instruction is a variation of pull-out ESL. Students won't miss out on information in the class. Sheltered English immersion is more effective than pull-out ESL, but not as effective as bilingual models. Teachers provide daily ESL and sheltered content area instruction. Newcomer programs are fairly new as there is little research on them. These programs tend to lack focus on content area instruction and are expensive to operate. They, however, help students develop primary language skills. Submersion, also known as sink or swim, refers to failing to help ELLs at all. No ESL instruction, no sheltered instruction, no primary language support. Some teachers are not even certified to teach ELLs.